Ancient Egypt is one of the oldest and most extraordinary civilizations in human history. It existed for over 3,000 years and developed along the fertile banks of the Nile River, in the middle of harsh deserts. This civilization gave the world pyramids, pharaohs, temples, hieroglyphics, and incredible scientific achievements that still amaze historians today. Even thousands of years later, ancient Egypt remains full of mysteries that continue to fascinate people all over the world. The history of ancient Egypt began around 3100 BC, when King Narmer united Upper and Lower Egypt into one kingdom. This created a strong centralized state ruled by pharaohs. Egypt's location near the Nile River was the key to its success. The Nile provided water in a dry land and made farming possible. Every year, the river flooded and left behind rich black soil, allowing Egyptians to grow crops such as wheat, barley, flax, fruits, and vegetables. Because agriculture was so successful, Egypt was able to support a large population. Villages grew into towns, and towns became cities. Trade also played an important role in Egypt's growth. Egyptians traded gold, papyrus, linen, grain, and jewelry with neighboring civilizations such as Nubia, Mesopotamia, and the Mediterranean kingdoms. The pharaoh was the most powerful person in Egyptian society. Egyptians believed that the pharaoh was both a king and a god on earth. He controlled the army, laws, taxes, religion, and all major decisions in the kingdom. Pharaohs were seen as protectors of balance and harmony, known as Mat, which was central to Egyptian belief. Some pharaohs became legendary. Tutankhamun is one of the most famous because his tomb was discovered almost untouched in 1922, filled with golden treasures. Ramesses II is remembered as one of the strongest rulers and military leaders in Egyptian history. Hatshepsut, one of the few female pharaohs, became famous for expanding trade and building magnificent temples. And Cleopatra became known around the world as the last ruler of ancient Egypt. One of Egypt's most remarkable achievements was architecture. The pyramids are among the greatest engineering wonders ever built. The most famous pyramids stand at Giza, near modern Cairo. The Great Pyramid, built for Pharaoh Khufu, was the tallest human-made structure in the world for nearly 4,000 years. These pyramids were built as royal tombs, designed to protect the bodies and treasures of dead rulers for eternity. The construction of pyramids required enormous organization, planning, and labor. Contrary to old myths, they were not built by slaves alone, but by thousands of skilled workers, builders, and craftsmen. Egyptians used ramps, tools made of copper, and careful mathematics to create these giant monuments with incredible precision. Religion was at the center of Egyptian life. Egyptians believed in hundreds of gods and goddesses. Ra was the sun god, Osiris ruled the afterlife, Isis represented motherhood and magic, and Anubis guided souls to the next world. Temples were built to honor these gods, and priests performed daily rituals. The Egyptians strongly believed in life after death. They thought that after death, the soul continued living in another world. To prepare for this journey, bodies were preserved through mummification. This complex process involved removing internal organs, drying the body with natron salt, and wrapping it in linen. Tombs were filled with food, clothing, jewelry, and sacred objects to help the dead in the afterlife. Ancient Egypt also made important advances in science and knowledge. Egyptians developed one of the earliest writing systems, hieroglyphics. These symbols were carved into stone monuments and written on papyrus scrolls. Scribes were highly respected because they recorded laws, trade records, religious texts, and history. In medicine, Egyptian doctors were highly skilled. They knew how to treat wounds, set broken bones, perform surgeries, and use herbal medicines. Their understanding of anatomy improved partly because of mummification practices. Egyptians were also advanced in astronomy and mathematics. They studied stars to create calendars, predict Nile floods, and organize farming seasons. Their 365-a-day calendar later influenced many later civilizations. Daily life in Egypt varied by social class. Pharaohs and nobles lived in luxury, while farmers and laborers worked hard in fields and construction sites. Most Egyptians lived in simple mud brick houses, ate bread, fish, vegetables, and dates, and wore linen clothing suited to the hot climate. Despite its strength, ancient Egypt faced many periods of crisis. Internal conflicts, weak rulers, and invasions slowly weakened the kingdom. Foreign powers such as the Hyksos, Assyrians, Persians, Greeks, and finally Romans conquered Egypt over time. After the death of Cleopatra in 30 BC, Egypt became part of the Roman Empire, ending its independence. Even though ancient Egypt disappeared as a kingdom, its legacy never vanished. Its monuments still stand, its treasures continue to be discovered, and its influence can be seen in art, architecture, science, and culture around the world. Ancient Egypt remains one of humanity's greatest achievements, a civilization whose mysteries still inspire wonder today.